What's going on, everybody? We are back at epic.28, casting some battalion, sponsored by Chill Blast. I am Tom, joined by Kaiserson, and
Yeah.
it's a good day, man. We're about to get
Yeah.
into the playoff stage. You excited?
Yeah, this is what I'm here for. Like, playoffs is the best chance to see which teams are the best, because then you can have a best of three. It's more conclusive. With best of ones, it's a little bit 50-50, because each team gets to pick a map which is both for their favorites. But this time we get to see one team pick their favorite map, another team pick their favorite map, and then a decider.
Right.
And we got a pretty cool bracket. Of course, our game, which we're going to be streaming very, very soon. Hopefully, we just have some delays with Looney, who had to switch PCs, and he's warming up a little bit. But Avenue versus Envictus.
So I believe Avenue is what, 3-3, Envictus is 2-4.
Yeah.
So gonna be one of the closer ones, and a little surprised, honestly, by Avenue showing. I think you were saying it's not the same Avenue that's been around. They picked up Lifer, who has been showing up,
Yeah.
but I don't know where to swing on this. We've been watching, I think we've seen 2 Envictus games, or I've at least watched 2 and streamed them, and they have glimpses of hope. They just haven't really showed up to finish them off. I was speaking to some of them. They said we need to start putting up some W's. Do you think this is going to go all 3 games? Do you think it's one team's favors the other?
It all depends on what maps get played. You know, Invictus seem like they prefer like a sort of buggy style. Like Coastal is probably one of their maps which they should play really well
Right.
on. But of course, Sector 1 was just better on that day. And then with Avenue, they prefer a little bit more teamwork. It's a lot more team oriented. They try and play off each other a little bit more, try and use a lot more smokes and nades. And when they can't, they don't have the knowledge of the map. Like we saw when they played against the devs, they struggle a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Envictus really needs. They need to put Invasion on so they can play Avenue a little bit out of their comfort zone. Because I believe they've already played, and we actually casted that game.
Yeah, I think, was that the first match of the day? I see here that Avenue won, and I think it was 13-9 over Invictus, and I think it was the game on Coast. So obviously those first games, not that they don't matter, but first game of the day, everyone's a little nervous, and we see players
after the delays and stuff.
Yeah, kind of sitting around, and you can only warm up for so long without playing before you get a little antsy. But I'm looking at some of the other lineups. Obviously, Endpoint was the first seed, and who are they going to play here in the groups? I don't know if we're going to catch any of those games or not.
So Endpoint on the first seed, so they're on the bye now. But it's between Sector 1 and Leisure. Whoever wins that has to face Endpoint in the next stage, which is quite interesting since we already seen Sector 1. They played very, very well in the last 3 games. They look very, very strong and dangerous. And I was speaking to some of the guys after that game, and they are pumped. They're ready, and everything's just clicking for them right now.
Yeah, the pieces are falling into place, and I think if we do get to watch that, obviously not counting Leisure out quite yet, but that's going to be one of the series to stick around for sure. And then across the board, who do we have the devs up? Are they playing London Esports?
Okay.
Ooh. It's going to be tough for London, but I think they'll squeak it out.
Yeah, as long as they don't have to play on Invasion, they should be rolling through that game quite easily. And then, of course, they have to face whoever is the winner of this game. Of course, if you lose, you're not out just yet. You go into the losers bracket. So I believe it would be losers of 2 or 3. So I believe the devs will go into the losers bracket as well as Invictus. Seems like it's quite confusing, the bracket, for me. Like, I'm not really too sure who goes into the low bracket.
Well, it should be in the chat if you do the exclamation point bracket. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. As I was saying, I think yesterday you kind of see how the meta develops during the tournament, and teams like Sector 1, they have a slow start, they can start turning it on, and then other teams, is there any on the other end of that, as the tournament goes on, they get weaker, or they start to have nerves shaky? I think you mentioned that a little bit. Is that something, obviously Endpoint are champions, but like, do you think that's going to be a factor today?
Hopefully we don't have to see that. There are a few players which I know, like, later on in the tournament they do. Like I was saying, last game, Sector 1, Rebuff, he's the type of player which throughout, later on in the stages, he struggles a little bit. Like you saw at the Major, saw at Budapest. That's when he struggles the most. But hopefully he saw it here, and that he plays well, because he's been lights out in the group stages.
Yeah. I'm just looking at these other teams and seeing who you can expect to move forward, and it's kind of up in the air. There's not too many. I mean, the London Devs game might be a stomp, but the rest I can see definitely going 3 maps for every series.
Yeah, Sector 1, you probably could see them go through quite easily. They're probably more of the favorites in that matchup. But with the Avenue and Invictus, it's slightly in favor for Avenue, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the results. Invictus struggled quite a bit. The only team which they dominated against has been the Devs. and then they struggled against Sector 1, London, of course, Endpoint, who's just been lights out in the group stages as well. So they're probably going to struggle as well, but maybe in the best of 3 they can get a little bit more comfortable. Like I said, you can play a little bit more of your favorite map which you're more comfortable on. But saying that, there isn't really many maps there in the map pool which makes teams uncomfortable, except for maybe a Vanguard and an Invasion. So if you want to be a champion team, you need to practice those maps, and I know for a fact Endpoint practice Vanguard quite a bit.
Yeah, when you're going into scrims or things like that, or every face at Pug, you vote off those maps you don't feel like playing. You get to these majors, you've only played them maybe 10 times the past month, you're going to struggle a little bit. But it's just how it goes, and we'll see what maps we do see. So Invasion is in the pool. Savoia is not in the pool, correct?
Savoia is not in the pool.
Okay.
It's being reworked on. I think currently the devs are focusing on docks.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, because last time they focused on Invasion, and this time they're focusing on docks, because of course a lot of people weren't a fan of docks in the start of Battalion release. When I watched a few games and costed a game on docks, it was hard to like it. I could see where they was trying to go for. There's some bright spots. You could see some hope. But there's some issues, like, of course, mid-play on that, it was just not great. The fact that you can get collateral after 2 seconds of a round.
I think I saw some triples even there on Twitter.
It's not great in that aspect, so I'm glad that he's getting a rework, and hopefully it'll be great in the next 2 months, I'd say. Of course, that doesn't mean some of the maps currently in the map pool don't need rework. Like some players, a little bit testy about Invasion. Maybe just you need to warm up to it a little bit more.
I think you can give it a chance. There's definitely just a different map. It's not that same kind of 3-lane structure that it has been. They've kind of, I think Orange was maybe the crux of that map, getting orange control, getting down to that donut spot and fighting over those stairs, but you don't really need to do that anymore. You can just kind of either go in there or don't. You're safe in there if you're on the allies. So
because it only passed on to A long, like so I guess people would have seen yesterday when the devs played it, and the devs look quite dangerous on it. They look quite comfortable, which is probably what you expect. They probably have the most experience on this map after playtesting it so many times.
Right.
And then the players, they're just focusing on the map because, of course, A4 Invasion might not be here, but Invasion's here, and I hope we get to see it in playoffs. It's those maps which can show like a champion team. They're the teams which put in the most practice.
Right. And if it's on a newer map that teams haven't played, it's just that pure skill. It's not like you have the better set nades. It'll come down to that just natural game sense and natural ability to aim and line your nades up. But looking down the bracket, as we were saying, for the Sector 1 game, they're a little favored, and Endpoint have the advantage, so they're just advancing. If Sector 1 win their best of 3, they'll play Endpoint then?
Yeah.
And that'll be a series.
That is a series.
That's the series, right?
Yeah, I would love to watch that series. Hopefully we can cast it. Because it would be a great series to watch, because it's a best of 3. Sector 1, they look very, very good. Great individual players, and you have Endpoint, a little bit more structured team. They like to play the map very well. They like to play the economy very well. They use their nades very well. It's pretty much a good team, and at LAN, they always show up, and that's the main thing. They don't care about online results, because the LAN is where it's at.
That's where the money is, right?
Exactly.
And I think I saw Mark did cut off his sleeves today for the performance, a classic.
Classic Mark.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else really that I was talking to some people, and they were asking if there's any upsets or anything you're really surprised about coming out of the group stage. And it's not really. We see Endpoint up 5-1. Sector 1, people were like, maybe they'll do well, maybe they won't. But 4-2, London Esports following them at 4-2 as well. So it's just kind of, I feel like everything is running just about as you'd expect it.
Definitely. Like you'll see London and Endpoint at the top bracket. Sector 1 was, of course, the only one which is just like a question mark. Because, yes, each player is individual, but how will they play in the team? How will they play against other team environments like Avenue? Maybe Avenue's really the only team which has been a little bit of a letdown here because they struggled against the devs on Invasion. Yes, they've had some pretty decisive wins against Envictus and Leisure, which you expect from, but they have struggled against some of the top teams like London, 13-4.
Yeah. I think I talked to them after that game, and they said that, and I immediately jumped to, well, what side did you start on? Because it can be one of those games where maybe you're on derailed, you start on allies, they just keep piling them on, and it's a 9-3 half. So it happens, and I was kind of interested because they're 3-3, and it's Avenue. You'd expect them to be showing up, and we've seen them play, and they've looked good. Their last game that we didn't get to catch was a 12-16 loss to Sector 1.
Sector 1, yeah.
And that's brutal and could go either way. That would mean it's either 4-2 for Sector 1 or for Avenue. So they're kind of the two teams that I think are fighting for that spot to challenge, be the team to take down Endpoint at the end of the day. But obviously we have other matches. We're going to do the Envictus one here shortly, and I'm just looking forward to it, man. I want to see how these players can develop and kind of keep their sanity in these best of threes as the day's going to go on. And
I always say best of threes is the main test, and it's where you can see the best out of teams. So obviously, in the past few weeks and months, we only seen online play except for Frag, but now we can actually see EU play on LAN, and this is going to be top notch, I believe. Yeah.
So I don't know if you'd have the experience with it, you've been to the EU LANs, when do you switch off Red Bull and just jump straight into the beers for the night while playing, you know?
I don't start on Red Bull, I start on the beer.
You start on the beers?
Yeah,
okay.
I start on the beers, and I'm pretty sure that's what most of Endpoint doing. I saw some Envictus players already drinking here, so.
It is just about 2, so you want to start drinking early, get it going, get your blood flowing, and I'm just excited. I want to see more like lifer type plays where we saw the ace where he jumps out and gets the +10, and I think we will. Kosje almost had a +15 there. So that's the thing in NA when they just kind of sprint straight to site. You have these opportunities to get the clips and things like that, but with more structured play from these guys, you can go for the highlights, but it's only ever 1 or 2 players you're challenging. You don't see too many heads popping up like that. Is that going to change as things go on? We saw Sector 1 for like one of the first times we saw a full eco push onto that B site. Is that just not as common, or is that something that teams aren't as comfortable doing?
I think teams are comfortable in doing that. It's just when the opportunity shows itself. Like you saw there, like Sector 1 only did it when they didn't have to buy to play a little bit more structured play, a default to slowly get where they want. So they just went a little bit fast. Or you might see teams switch it on when they need to go for the fast play because slow hasn't been working. Like I remember seeing Leisure, they were playing fast, and it wasn't working, so they switched to slow. And it's just the adaptability in some of these teams, and that's what's going to make you win, because that's what Endpoint was known for. You see them at the start of a game, they struggle a little bit. But then as soon as they adapted to their opponents, they just get round after round after round after round. And that is the dangerous thing on some of these teams.
So how much does that come down to the IGL calling, hey, let's fall off or let's start doing this, and how much is just in that, I've been playing the game long enough, I know what's going on? Because as we saw, I think it was last game where they tried to split 2 and 2, and it didn't quite work out, but the idea was there. Is that a call? Is that just something players know to do? Or, hey, I'm going B?
It's probably a mix of both. Like some teams, they probably don't even have an IGL. They just go off each other. Because I know London, they don't have a dedicated IGL. They just strat together and then do what they feel comfortable in doing. And all these players are skilled enough to do that. At least with an IGL, you have a cohesive plan.
Right.
And you can get things done a lot better in that case, in my opinion. But it's very hard to see like some of these teams. Like, because when you go into a round, most of these teams do have a plan from the start. You can see it. Like you can see, obviously, like we saw in Envictus, they do 3 on to B, waiting a little bit behind, and have 2 people push on towards A to try and fake, trying to do some damage. And because those 2 players are normally comfortable, we've seen Endpoint do that, and they do it very, very successful. And that's just because they know where to look. They've put a lot of practice into this game, and it's just going to be great. And I think we have got
I think we're doing knives for vetoes, but we may just kind of cut to a little 5-minute break here and give ourselves the time to see what maps are going to be picked, just so we have the right information for you guys. As we said, it's been best of ones all yesterday, so they were just banning to see what one map they played, and now they got 3. So only, 2 bans going to come out, or pick, ban? I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but
I don't know, but it should be great to see.
Yeah, so stay tuned, and we will be back in hopefully just about 5 minutes with the start of our first best of 3 of the day. And we are jumping straight into it. You got a quick glimpse of us. Our buddy Dark accidentally cut to the screen. Big shout out to Dark for doing the observing and production. He's been on top of it all weekend except for that horrible mistake. But we'll move past it. Moving into the first match of the playoffs, we have Avenue versus Envictus. And I'm excited, man. We got Liberation first map, and this was Avenue's pick.
Yeah, then of course second map, Mana, input by Envictus, and then Decider Coastal. So your traditional 3.
Yep. I think we'll be seeing that a lot in the next, unless people have things up their sleeves and think they're more comfortable on some maps. But
I think the team which would do that is probably either going to be Endpoint or London.
You think London would?
Yeah, I think so, because I know they've been practicing some nades on Vanguard, so they'll roughly, I would expect them to pick a Vanguard maybe to surprise someone.
Yeah, maybe get a free map.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. We started right on time per the countdown. I want to get a big shout out for that. Yeah, that's impressive. That's hard.
That is impressive, especially on our track record at the moment. You having 3-hour delays yesterday, and then today we had to fill in for quite a while, and then we finally get started, and it starts right on time. They started the knife.
None of our issues, though, right?
Oh, of course, it can't be our issues.
They were not.
I'm just casting.
Right.
After all, I'm here on time.
We are going to get straight into it. Avenue are going to start off on Axis and try to hold down this A and B site as a default is coming through for Envictus. Sus trying to make his way up the middle of the map, just kind of peeking, and actually we see Adamello sitting in spawn with the set nade held, and he's just going to be probably holding there until he hears the bomb start to be planted, and that kind of sets the tone for this map. You know how they're going to play it, right?
Exactly, and CD is the one which opens up, and he's having a little bit of trouble, but he does manage to get away just in time, and that's the important thing. He gets frag, gets away, and sets the tone for the start, and gets some information that some players are around tables.
Yeah, he saw 2 there, which means it's probably not B since they're congregating, and got an early pick aggressively, so it looks like this is maybe going to be more of an A-side hit just based on where the players are hanging out. Lifer in an aim duel here, looking for a head, making sure he doesn't show too much skin, and just an awkward fight, and actually gets taken out. Joe Zeus with an important opening kill as they are starting to strafe and try to take this A site. Looney with the default gets his first kill, tries to rotate back, but Niels picks him up. CDE fighting for his life, goes for the one tap, but Joe Zeus makes it 2 for the round for himself. Adamello with this nade, throwing it straight over to site. Not sure if that's going to connect, but it's too late anyways. The bomb has been planted, so that 2-coin investment not paying off. Bomb goes down for Envictus, and they are looking happy here.
Yeah, they should be looking heavy. They should be able to hold the bomb very nicely. You've got 2 players towards A-Long, 1 person on site to delay any time for the A-Long players to react. And Adamello, even though he does have some weapons to play with, his chances are very slim, but there's always a chance, especially if he can get these headshots into play and how separate these players are.
Yeah, I think at this point he's taking a little too long. He doesn't know there's 2 players basically behind him, and a really good round. CDE went aggressive there in mid, and he really did do his job. Obviously, he wants to get more than 1 kill, but pushed all the way up to cart, got the kill, and made it back while calling out. They probably should have known it was an A hit just based on the information. If they're not going B early, I don't see them taking it late, even with Lifer going down. So just unfortunate for him, and Envictus are up 1-0.
I think it was just mostly that life of play. Like if he got that kill, it would have been perfectly fine because they were seeing, oh, it's just 1 player. But because Lifer falls, they might think, oh, it's a B, so they might be indecisive. And it's that indecisive which makes you lose rounds.
Samuel G getting taken a little low, and CDE hears them climbing into that top of greenhouse, so knows that there's one up there, and looks like they're kind of underneath. They're just kind of swapping and seeing if they can win either of those gunfights, get the man advantage. Sus going to peek out aggressively, falls, and actually runs straight back, getting tagged up a lot here. Doesn't know where anyone is, and posted up aggressively, causing kind of a headache. Double peeks him, and he gets the +10 on the Looney and Lowy. Sus with a huge play, opening up B and now, or A, and now CDE is left alone, trying to get one of these shots as he bounces off the white box. Neil's coming up huge. Sus lit as well, and Envictus just shutting that down easily. Huge play from Sus.
Yeah, just getting the frags. That's what it is. They obviously had the weapon advantage, so they used that to the advantage. It was just so getting those 2 massive kills at the start, getting the double kill, and then baiting for his teammate for the 3rd.
Yeah, it looks like they're ready to show up here. As they have been quickly taking this A site, and it may be one of those things that they're just weak at, and they decide to keep pushing. We see Samuel G on the scope, but we see 5 STGs coming out for Avenue, so a big buy from them coming out. No nades, though. I feel like this is a pretty nade-based map. Yeah. As I say that, Sus picks up on the Lifer, so a 5v4 already.
Yeah, it's quite interesting the fact that they don't have any nades. They just bought 2 smokes, and even 2 smokes, that's not really enough because typically you would like to have a smoke towards mid as well as a smoke towards Ivy on B or even towards long as well. So it is worrying that they choose for the SCGs, but you can see why they want the SCGs as they get 1 massive kill. But It's a little bit unfortunate from Looney, though.
Fancy is insane with this default. Wins the gunfight on the Looney after taking some damage and looks to get the second kill, but Samuel G is there, going to try to push Lowy into the corner and doesn't get that kill. So a nice frag, and they should be able to get this bomb onto A site. As you said earlier, no nades coming out, so they're not going to be able to nade retake this site. The smokes are still up, so this would be a free plant. CDE's got to do something big here, as we're going to see him maybe try to strafe onto this white box or just look for any type of angle. He is going to make the jump and start spraying a headshot on the Samuel G. 2 for him already, and he is showing up. Now a 2v2 retake, 40 seconds left, so lots of time to play with. Fancy just hanging out on site while we see Joe Seuss is just playing long. Adamello doing the same jump and actually left alone, a 1v2 now.
What happened to CDE?
I'm not sure. he died at some point. I was a little confused as to what happened. I must have missed it.
I must have missed it as well. Because that was an insane shot that he does, and you just expect him to do more, and then he just disappears. But another great round from Envictus. They played that very well, just getting the frags on the board, and of course they had the advantage of having nades to them as well as smokes, because right at the bat you saw Lifer fall to a nade, and Lifer's one of those heavy hitters, and only really CDE turning up. They need to stop hitting their shots, and they need to start working a little bit better, maybe using some more utilities, because again, only one smoke and one nade.
Yeah, it's just because they're poor and they keep kind of forcing up. I'd like to see them save and maybe push something together or try to walk through A long to get one of these kills and collapse in. But they need to start getting rounds. They are on the axis, and this is a pretty even map. You really, obviously, allies, once they start going, they'll start tearing you. But I think that's Adamello playing upper B with an MP40. Not the best position you want to be in with a submachine gun. And at least Envictus is playing this a little bit more slow. As I say that, CDE looks away at the worst time, does make it out alive, and this guy just seems to stay alive here all the time in mid.
Yeah.
Straight around, misses a shot with the car, and is picked up by Samuel G. A nice shot there coming out from that little connecting area. And once again, they're down at a disadvantage. Still a minute left, so lots of time to play with, and some utility, which are going to be smokes used on B site. Samuel G is going to try to run through and get on these stairs. The nade comes out, and it's not going to do any damage. Lifer's going to try to walk on the other side of the smoke. Doesn't get the kill. Fancy picks him up, so they can have a free plant here if they want. It hasn't gone down yet. Adamello up top trying to spray through this smoke and doesn't have the luxury of an X-ray to spray through and doesn't get any shots down. So a 3v5 retake, and honestly, I say they save here. This is a lot of guns for them to lose this round.
The best call for them would be to save so they can get some utility, because that's the main thing that they've been lacking. They haven't got any nades to dictate Envictus to go. They don't have any smokes really to delay them. Like, one of the greatest plays which I like to do on this map is to smoke deep mid. That way you can have like an option to push Ivy, and your opponents will always be threatened of that Ivy push.
Even if you don't do it, they have to at least check it, and you can maybe get aggressive on B while they're doing that if you smoke off the arch as well. But it's just not coming out, and as we said, the call to save does come. So this next round is going to be pretty important. They've thrown away 4 so far, and obviously it's the best of 3, so they have both maps, but you really think Avenue need to change some things up or just start fragging. On the other side, Sus goes down on site. Maybe a little bit of a mistake there. I'm not sure what kind of gun he had, but their economy's rolling. And just as that scoreboard was up, Envictus, it's not like anyone is just going crazy. They all have 3 and 4 kills apiece.
But it's just the other side. They're just not in the shops. And the 2 players which you say are the heavy hitters for Avenue, both on 0 kills so far in round 5.
Yeah, something needs to change, and we'll see if that's it. But as we say it, the utility is starting to be purchased. We see 4 nades and 4 smokes, so not sure where they're going to be landing. Looks like Lifer's able to get onto site pretty safely, so they should have B locked down as he's playing pretty aggressive into that house position, or at least holding that. So a little bit different of a hold. It's not like they're playing it too far back. And you look at the minimap, no one's playing upper just because they're all so close. They need to make sure they don't show too many heads here for Joseph to, peek out, but I think they're going to play this pretty safely. Even their Looney playing the mid angle isn't really holding mid. He's just playing in the back of that green house, not letting anyone push through. So the Avenue certainly did change it up on this round.
Yeah, and you can see the difference. No one started yet. They got B control pretty much at B long and yellow. And this is going to cause some pressure, especially now they start pushing in. Samuel G looking too high. He should fall. Lifer does manage to get that kill, but it's a messy kill. They get 2, and they got control of B side completely, and this has to force Envictus to go towards A.
Fancy not quite able to make his jump here. We'll finally get on top and may be able to find a kill here in dark if anyone shows their head, but 2 have already gone down, and it's 40 seconds left. Looks like they're trying to posture up B, but as I said, Looney playing back pretty far is able to find that frag, and under Neil's scope, not going to kill him quite yet. Wants to kind of see if he can find any other info on B, but took a little too long. Now he's able to find that. Now Sus left alone in a 1v5. Can't quite hit his shot, and looks like whatever Avenue did to change things up is certainly working.
Yeah, and it just gone back onto the utility. They was able to use their utility to block out the view of their opponents, use nades so they can get into better positions, and they was able to get control of the B site, get the frags, and win the round on the back of that.
Yeah.
That's why utility is so important.
And it's just such a money-managing game, and you can tell that by Sus here. He just has his knife out. Obviously wants to stay alive here, but is realistic and knows that he's going to start to be pushed and tries to weasel his way through a knife, and he's not going to get it, but that means they won't be able to pick up the scope.
They do pick up the scope.
It did drop?
Yeah, because when you have the knife out, it counts as a primary.
Oh, so you need to have your pistol out.
You have to have your pistol out.
Someone ought to tell him. I thought he was ahead of the curve and maybe knew something I didn't know, but no. So the scope's in the hands of Looney and Lifer. They both have them, so huge economy swing. Obviously, Invictus do still have money, and I think we see a pause here coming out. Not sure what that's for, but 2 scopes is scary on this map, especially. If you're just holding down upper B with that, or you can shut down one of the entire streets, you can essentially just put a scope on A and get the one-shots left and right. So excited to see what they're going to do with that and see if Invictus changes anything up. Their defaults have been working. You would hate to see them change up their strategy and kind of lose their advantage after just losing one round. But, you know, maybe with some different guns and different economy going, they'll start taking B more effectively or start rushing things maybe a bit more.
Yeah, because they have been playing quite slowly, just taking advantage of some of the peaks that Avenue's been making and some of the missed shots. Hopefully Avenue now a little bit more awake. They can hit their shots as they got their first round on the board, and with these scopes that might help them even further. You can watch down mid with the scope, or you could go onto the B side, watch Ivy, try and go for early pick, or even holding A long for as long as you want until you have to rotate. And the fact that they have a secondary weapon, which is an STG on MP44, they can be adaptable to wherever they can be on the map. It does seem like Invictus are forcing into this, and SMG able to get a scope. Maybe we'll have a scope battle down mid.
Yeah, could be, and I'd be excited to see that. Maybe someone jump off the ledge at that stairs from the Axis side. Love seeing that peek. They can kind of strafe, and you can get the little bunny hop type thing going if you go if you're jumping at the right angle. But we'll see what comes out. And on these teams, who's kind of the go-to scope? We've obviously seen Samuel G with it a lot, but who's the Avenue player that you would want to have this scope with?
The player which I've seen the scope mostly in their hands is probably actually CDE.
Okay. As you say that, he's not one of the ones with the scope. He is going to be playing with that MP40. He's been holding down mid and probably will continue to do that. Bomb is coming out towards Backstreet A, and as we were talking about, it looks like it's going to be another default. One of those scopes is – oh, I think I was looking at the wrong player there. It looked like one was working up towards B long, but –
yeah, Samuel G is towards A long.
A long, sorry.
Looney is towards mid, as well as Lifer, who's actually in B arch, watching B long, which is a good position for a scope, as they can try and get a kill on the peak. And nice peak, but Fancy not able to fall from CDE shots. A little bit unfortunate. 1 HP. Will consider himself lucky.
Yeah, he was just sitting on the other side of that wall. Looks like Fancy knew where he was, just looks away, and CDE just pops up. Good timing. Sus in a good spot here. Was able to get all the way on site and is in dark. Maybe able to find someone's head if they're turned the wrong way, or maybe even sneak out under the scope or even over the scope if he's prone. But the smokes are now coming out. It looks like they're trying to execute B. They have 4 players over here. Lifer's not able to get any of these kills before they get on site, and now this bomb is essentially going to go down. But a nade comes out. There was a fake plant. The nade comes out, and you see them all 3 run through the smoke. Lands on top. They're trying to retake, and they get 2 there. A good play for Avenue as they have stopped this plant, and the bomb looks like it's just going to rotate straight out. Niels is just going to start running, and they have someone top green, so he needs to be careful. He's not going to get peeked from this angle. Does see him jumping in a huge kill from Lau through the wall. Headshot in the middle of the air, and looks like they may beat him. Fancy on the other side gets Lifer, who is trying to find that gun and get there, so a 2v2 split. They don't know exactly where the bomb is. The smoke comes out, and it starts to be planted. Adamello should be able to get this kill, and he does, so they should be able to retake together. No, the bomb doesn't go down, and Lowy with a huge round.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic round from Avenue. You saw that they threw the nades, but I like to say, Invictus, they played that well.
Yeah.
And yet Avenue still managed to go on top. Like, you saw that. You had Sus go into the site. He's like, okay, no one's stuck, and you saw the smokes come in. Perfect timing, because you block out all the angles. You know B site is completely clear, and you can go in and plant. And then the nades coming in. And this is what I was talking about. The utility is so important in this map, and that's why Avenue needed it. And they was able to stop the plant. They all rushed in to get him, and it was well enough to watch it, and some amazing shots were seen.
Here's your mid smoke. They smoke deep, and he goes up that arch. They haven't been doing it much, but they finally do. Lifer gets a free kill, and Looney with a nade opens it up quick as well. Getting wall banged a bit there, and looks like there may be a gunfight. CDE does have the scope in mid and gets picked off by Niels. A huge kill. Not going to elect to run up, says he. I don't think he knew that was a scope, but Big investment in CDE goes down pretty early. Samuel G going to be in a little bit of a gunfight here if someone peeks from windows, but Avenue are playing safer, but also a little more aggressive. They've just changed it up, and it seems to be working well as they are now in a 4v3. Lifer just holding down this B arch, waiting for someone to be long, and that's going to be Sus, who's going to shoulder peek it. Kill doesn't quite come out. Lifer does need to be careful as their one is just right on the other side of the wall, but definitely just made his position known. Up to Adam Ello to cover this for him. He runs through the smoke, and he wasn't able to see it, so on the stairs now is Samuel G. Can't quite get that kill as he runs straight into the barrel of an STG. Sus now coming up and trying to smoke this off, but he's getting flanked and actually maybe shot by his teammate there, but does finally get the kill onto Lifer. Bomb still hasn't gone down, about 30 seconds left, and there is one nade on Adam Ello, who is playing that up top area, so should be able to retake this if he wants with it. Sus walks all the way through. Now Bomb is dropped. Thought he had to go for something big there in this 2v3, and Niels is now tagged as well. Could potentially wait for this round to go, but Adam Ello with another big round up top, and Avenue definitely picking up and starting to play a little smarter here, and it's working out. They are bringing it back now 3-4. It's still in favor of Envictus.
Yeah, and it's all back to utility usage. You saw how important it was. Like I talked about that mid-smoke, they used it and it was able to get the kill straight off the bat. Now they can keep doing that mid-smoke, and they will always be friends, so that just wastes time because maybe they're going to push this time or maybe they won't. And then the nade kills which come in as well right at the start, it happened, and then you got another nade tag. That gives you some information, and it allows you to peek because you knew he was tagged slightly.
Yeah, and something for Envictus that was working earlier that they've kind of strayed away from was that A pressure and that working towards A site. They've kind of completely abandoned it as this game has gone on, and I think it may be a mistake. Obviously, with guns, it's a lot harder to take site since you have an STG or a Thompson or an MP40 Lifer with a huge kill on the Sus, who's just a little too greedy there, maybe peeking that, doesn't need to take that fight quite yet, and these are going to throw these smokes up towards B, but it looks like it's going to be a fake, as I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Zeus run all the way back and start executing A, and they're not taking the bait. Avenue is just staying there. Fancy winning his fight on Lifer, though, could make them maybe regret their decision. Niels on the other side kills Lowy, so Envictus are just winning their gunfights. Looney going to try to get in here, bottom of the building. Does, and waits. He knows that there's still one up top. Not going to peek the right angle. Does eventually, and kills Samuel G. Unfortunate gunfight for him to take. Fancy gets his second of the round, just running through that back spawn street. Looney with a nade straight up into the air. Not sure if this is going to connect on site or not. It does not, since they walk towards that mid street. The bomb plant is going to come out. Looney's going to try to strafe through. A little too aggressive, but does get the kill on the Niels and makes it out with his life. So now a 2v2 situation. Fancy knows he's there. Makes it 3 for him and a 1v1 as Adam Ello killed Joe Zeus on the other side of the map. So has 25 seconds left and tons of time as there is no nade on the side of Adam Ello. Fancy looking to make it 4 kills for himself and clutch this round. Meanwhile, Adam looking to shut this down and bring Avenue back to a 4-4 scoreline.
Yeah, what a fantastic round so far from Fancy, but he's shown himself. Adam knows exactly where he is, but luckily, so does Fancy. It's all bound to who sees for each other first. Oh! What a shot from Adam Ello to save the round.
He's got 3 bullets left. He thought he maybe did some damage there at Shed, but
wow,
got to be upset if you're Fancy there. You do all that work, you get the bomb planted, and can't squeak out the ace or the win, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah, and he did so well. Like, he did the bait on B perfectly, but Avenue didn't fall for it at all. And they just got the opening frags, and then it just all started to fall apart. You saw Looney go into the site, take out a player, and keep his life for as long as he can. What a messy round, but just great in terms of individual performances, hitting their shots. And Fancy, it's got to feel good like he didn't win that round.
Yeah. Either way, it's huge from Adam Ello as well on the other side of that clutch to keep his composure. He saw and missed some of those first shots from the Thompson, but eventually does win out the round. Meanwhile, Sus picking up 2 early here with the bar, just running straight through mid, taking out CDE and Lifer. And with that mid control now, they should be able to get something done, but I think Avenue is maybe pushing through A long. They are. Looney gets his first kill, and Lowy there with him, just kind of waiting. Niels picks up 1, so they try to get aggressive and at least gets 1 kill, but looks like it may need to be a little bit more than that. Looney looking for his second, can't connect on it. Niels takes him out, and Adam Ello just left alone again, and he's not going to be expecting 1 up top already. Fancy just getting so aggressive, finding his way through this map. We saw one of his kills was on B site, the other was on back street behind the house, and this time he's in their spawn. He just seems to kind of sneak his way into these positions to get a kill here or there.
Yeah, and it's just great that he's able to get into these advanced positions, but you have to talk about Sus. Him getting those 2 opening kills through Avenue completely off the map. When you lose 2 players so quickly in a round, you pretty much lost the round at that point.
It's exciting to see, and it looked like maybe Envictus pulling away with it has completely stopped as Avenue has, started to play and started to wake up a little bit in this best of 3. Sus now playing in that mid position with the scope. Neil's taking out Lowy on the other end, and looks like they're kind of posturing up towards B. They have 3 over here, and it looks like they're going to try to clear it with the scope, but they're not going to find Adamello for a while. He's playing up in this top spot. He can only play this maybe once or 2 times a game, and he decides this is going to be the round to do it, and why not?
You also have Lifer in dark, so they've got a good crossfire set, and especially since that smoke towards Arches isn't covering Lifer at all, and he's able to get that first frag as they try and push onto the site, and Adamello still hasn't been spotted yet. He finally strikes, gets one, gets a second, drops the bomb, and now it's all up to Sus with the scope to try and clutch things out.
Looking at the wrong side of the wall here as the other player. I think that CDE is at the left side waiting, and they know exactly where he is. No need to peek, and actually getting aggressive there is Adamello, who just got a 2-man, as I said, playing up in that. He's probably not going to be able to play there again. They're probably going to be checking it more and more, but Lifer getting that opening pick and showing himself in dark is a huge play, and essentially gets Adamello those 2 kills by baiting himself. Sus going to try to play with the pistol here and get the frag, but no, Adam makes it 3, and Avenue are now tied 5-5. And the economy is not looking too strong for Envictus. They weren't able to get the bomb down that round, so may have to force up. We could see some, looks like some naked bars or like an MP40 here or there. No, all bars and grands, and without this, you have the smokes, but you don't have any of the nades, which I think are just so important. You can nade upper, you can get them out of dark if you know the nade for that, and just kind of how it's going. Looks like they're going to smoke and try to get onto site. Bomb is posturing over there. As I say that, Looney gets his entry kill, so... And Adamello, as I was, the nades, you need the nades, man.
Yeah, exactly, especially on this map, especially you can get them into such tight corners that there's no escaping from them. And especially if Envictus wants to get into that position faster, he's just so good on this map. Well, let's see if Envictus can recover or if Avenue will go away onto this round. And Nils, he's trying to creep up into market.
Made some noise there, I believe, so not going to be able to sneak his way through. Sus in an important spot, probably going to prone as he has been to see if he can see any legs, and he does prone, but not sure. Yeah, he does see him. Sus with a huge kill onto Lifer, and he's been doing that every round. Finally does get a kill, and it will mean that it's worth his time. We see one running back in Manor, and they're probably going to clash here. Looks like they're going to try to take B through mid. They're kind of walking around just waiting for some type of opening to happen. And Avenue are doubled up in that green, so B definitely is the weak spot. It's just up to CDE here with the MP40 in dark to kind of hold this down, or at least get the information that, hey, they're over here, I need help, and he's in a good spot for it. There's no nades that can come out to clear him, so he just needs to stay alive and at least get one.
Yeah, luckily for him, Adamello is in a position to rotate quickly, and the smoke comes in, looking out his view. He can still eat this and stop the bot, and he does, and he goes back inside, and all he has to do is just stay alive and waste time.
Yeah, 13 seconds left. Fancy. It wasn't the best smoke. Not sure who threw it. Able to at least get the MP40, so playing against the clock here, only 8 seconds. There's no way they're going to be able to get this bomb down. Fancy will at least find the kill and starts planning. Think it's a little late. Tries to get off the bomb to get the kill, but Adamello jumps down. And a little sad there for Envictus. You think if they went a little bit faster, if they didn't struggle there early in the round, then they could have got that bomb down. But that's just kind of how it goes. Avenue are up 6-5 as they were down 0-4 at part of this match.
Yeah, and Envictus only able to get 1 round out of these last few 7. And I mean, looking a lot bad. It's just on the back of their utility usage, where they didn't have any utility in the first 4 rounds, and then once they had utility, they was able to do a lot more damage.
And that's why it's important if you're on allies, you really just, when you have your advantage, you need to hammer it and keep your advantage, because when this other team gets their guns, they'll start taking sights. And as I said that, they're going to be a full B hit. Looney gets a knife onto Samuel G and tries to make his way out, and he does. They're getting control of the site, but Lifer and him are fighting for control of this house so they can retake easier. Fancy going to sprint and get the bomb down eventually, but Looney is here. I don't think they're going to expect him to be through this smoke and on site. Will get the kill, almost goes down to a team nade, throws the smoke, knows bombs down, so he's just going to bide his time and try to stay there. Gets the second on the Sus, who jumps through, and now it's left to Joe Zeus in a 1v3, gets the first kill, tries to stay alive, only has this bar, and looks like things may slow down here for a second as Adamello is trying to hit that jump and get on top of that white box in the mid lane position. Joe Zeus in a very winnable spot. If he gets one of these frags, he'll essentially just have 2 1v1s, but it's going to be scary for him to check this street. Checks it, sees that there's no one there, and he's going to, re-peek it. Adamello wins it. Kind of some mind games going on with the noise being made, but Adamello going up 14-4, man. He is showing up.
Yeah, and we got to see at the end there a little bit of OG Looney there with 3 kills. The last few games we've watched, he hasn't been too impressive. He's been quite quiet. his movement's been good, but he's just haven't been able to hit his shots. But him getting those 3 massive kills definitely helped them cross that finish line. And now they're on the slightly tougher side, but I've seen teams go away with it on their allies.
And I feel like Avenue maybe could do that. They have the advantage in this. They've been really just playing well the past 8 rounds of the game, essentially. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have some momentum that they could rack up some wins. And as I say that, they're going to do a full A hit. They're climbing up the ladder, and Lifer goes down. Fancy and his teammate there holding it down with him. And they're going to try to get control of this and take A eventually. Sus winning his gunfight, and they're just trading off it. No one from Envictus has gone down yet. Looney finally picks up one, but now CDE is left alone. He was supposed to be the one baiting over towards B and does get the headshot, so important frag comes out that needs to, but in a rough spot as Samuel G's all the way pushed up through the map already. So what looked like it could have been a good round for Avenue as they kind of stormed that green house over at A. They just couldn't win their gunfights, maybe a little too slow getting up top.
Yeah, especially when you had Fancy and Jesus just holding it together so they can have 2 guns firing at the same time. It's hard to beat it when you go and push them one at a time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, I think they got there as fast as they could. I don't know if they strafed off the car to get on the ladder, but it's just something that doesn't really work if they do double stack it, and that's exactly what happened. Sus throwing the nade B could potentially get a frag with it, and actually does not come out. This is going to be a full B hit, and looks like Avenue have a plan. They want to go to these sites together. And that may work as there's only one on site, Samuel G with a huge grenade getting the kill onto Lowy before they can push on, and they really don't have guns. We still see 2 smokes, but it's mainly grease guns and carbines. They're going to look to see if Lifer can find a headshot and at least clear one off upper or get this kill dark. And as I say that, CDE finds the kill onto Jozus, so up to Sus here to hold this down. Has the STG, not able to find the first kill and has to fall all the way back, but his teammates are pushing through, just keeps spraying and finds a kill onto Looney, but Lifer and CDE making their guns worth their while as they find their frags. Gets killed through the wall, Sus with another. No need to take that gunfight. Lifer going to get a kill for free here and tries to get in dark. Should get another one as they push, and a huge round from Lifer and Avenue pick it up, going up 8-6 in the second half.
Yeah, you thought Sus might be able to stay alive just a little bit longer, but at the end when you saw 2 players cross in, it's not much you can do in that position. And it looked like Envictus could fight back, especially since he had the weapon advantage, but Avenue's just playing well together now.
Yeah.
Like you saw that they double peaked at the end. They managed to get the kills, which they needed to. And now it's 8-6, and they're just increasing their lead once again.
As we said earlier, such importance is that utility, and some utility got the nade kills last round, but they have none of that. And Avenue on their end has all smokes and nades. It's a big investment, but they can because they've been planning and winning the rounds. So the utility is going to come into play here as they still have 4 smokes on them. So if they don't get a pick, they can try to execute or at least throw their smokes together and go somewhere. If they do, they can, you know, smoke off the other side or do a fake or do whatever they want. So Avenue looking good here in this 15th round.
And it's coming up to the 1-minute mark, and they still got all of their utility now finally being thrown as a smoke towards Heaven and B Arch. It should be a B push, but Sus down mid, able to get the first kill onto Looney. Question is, can he get any more from this position with the STG? Such a powerful weapon.
Needs to be careful as CDE is there watching, and he's supposed to get these rotate kills, gets the first onto Sus, so Site should be a little easier to take. Avenue Lifer sitting on the stairs, and it's a really hard gunfight to take when you peek up like that. And as I say, Jozus does get his headshot and is spraying through, so they need to get on site before Samuel G flanks all the way around. They're at a player disadvantage, and he's going to get one for free. Sees one at half wall, can start spraying and at least tag him. Bomb is going down and is planted. Samuel G does win his gunfight. Now left alone in the 1v4 is Adam Ello. Sees that he runs through the smoke, and man, it's a hard play for him to make. He's going to try to walk through the smoke and get something done, but not sure. Does a little bit of a 180. Samuel G with a huge 3-man on that round.
Yeah, the smoke dissipated a little bit too early than Adamella would have liked, so he was stuck in no man's land. Envictus will pick up that round thanks to a great shot from Jozus and Samuel G with that flank.
Yeah. Avenue taking a little too long there. They had, I think they were trying to fake B and get the rotates mid, but Looney just turns his back and tries to start running down street. Sus gets the headshot easily, and you're already at a disadvantage while what was supposed to be a fake turns into a real execute, or?
Yeah, it was just a really weird move from him because there was no smoke down mid, and a mid presence when there's 5 players is always going to be a possibility. So turning your back when you're on mid, it's questionable in most circumstances.
Oh, huge headshot from Sus. Unfortunate for CDE. You got to feel for him as it's happened to all of us, but he goes down, and already in a 5v4 is Envictus. Looking like they're tuning it up together after those strong rounds, and it just seems like these teams are much better on the Axis side. They're a lot more comfortable on the angles they hold, and it's what you'd expect, but it's really coming to life here.
Yeah, and Avenue now looking across the map, just try and get the numbers back into their favor. And I think there is going to be an A called Looney trying to get this top green player, but he just can't see enough of him to justify it. But it's Adamello who gets that frag instead.
Fancy here holding the other side of the door. Just needs to be patient, as he will. Usually, yes, he does get the free kill and is going to turn and strafe. I think he knows they're coming. Throws the smoke to block off even more of that as they push through. He does go down, but Niels is just spraying and gets the kill on the Loud. Lifer here has the play to make. He needs to get around, but Joe Zeus just jumping right down those stairs. Has a single fire weapon. Shoots it quick enough to sound like a rifle, but Adamello sitting at 17-6. All coming down to him on this round in a 1v3. Going to throw that smoke straight up in the air as he starts his plant on site. Perfect smoke, honestly.
It's pretty good from the smoke. He does get tagged up slightly from the nade. Very, very low HP. He just needs to survive long enough for that smoke. Maybe get into a better position, and he is going into a pretty good position up into heaven.
Envictus playing as a team here, waiting for this smoke to go, and then it looks like they're going to come through all as three. They're checking the backs. They strafe through. Adamello has to hear him, knows that there's one up the stairs, gets the first, but it is traded. So textbook retake for Envictus there, just waiting for the smoke to fade and trading each other off. A valiant effort, as Adam did have 3 kills and got the bomb down, so really trying to keep his team in it. Avenue tied 8-8 at this point. Still with enough money to buy again, but thinking maybe they need to change it up and just kind of change the angles that they're peeking through.
Yeah, the main issue that they've been having at the moment is just losing plays very early on. You saw CDE, very unlucky that it was a headshot through smoke, but you also need to be careful of that possibility. Most of these players know the angles to shoot through smoke down mid. It happens all the time nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been shooting at it enough times, you know when gets kills and which doesn't, so he's able to get that. Samuel G going to smoke down mid, and I think this is going to work out for him as he's going to run into one, gets the first, and someone teams up with him, gets the second, a +10 for him as he strafes around, and they are just getting rifled down. Lifer's able to get onto site and maybe able to do some damage if he gets through stairs here, but it's just not looking good. Looney needs to get that shot, and Samuel G making it a 3 on the round for him with another headshot. Lifer actually proning through this smoke and going to get the back of Joe Zeus as he did not expect it. Turns it into a +10 and a huge round for him already, but he's as much work as he's doing, he's in a 1v3 now. And bombs down. Yeah,
bombs down, not in a great position, past the smoke, which he just thrown, and luckily has the second one to block out some more angles. But at this point, Envictus can just hold the bomb. They don't have to really try and take the fights onto Lifer. And if they have longer range weapons, which most of them do, they can just hold these long range angles against a Thompson.
Not sure Neil spotted them or not, but I think Lifer knows he's there, and he's going to run around the back, and this should be an isolated gunfight. Should win this and get it for free, but misses the spray as he's running away. Tries to wallbang him, and he's just getting baited as Samuel G runs out the door and helps him out. So a valiant effort from Lifer, but Samuel G with 4 on the round. I was just about to point out that we haven't seen too much from him since he hasn't been able to get the scope up, but completely turns it around and makes himself known on the scoreboard with a 13-10 score. As we check the board and see how everyone else is doing, we do have a slight pause coming out as we are in a very close match here, 8-9. Avenue just down 1 round, and kind of what I expected to see. Adamello has been showing up so much so far in this first game. He has the entire tournament, but this is where it really matters, the best of 3, the group stage, or the playoffs, I'm sorry, and needs his team to kind of start picking it up with him.
Yeah, but what a great round there from Samuel G in the last one, pushing up down mid, getting 2 kills, tagging up a third, and then getting the 3rd kill, and then lastly getting the final one. But what an amazing round from him, and at some point Avenue has to be careful of that, and now they will be careful of that, and that's just going to waste time in allowing Envictus, what I was saying in the previous half.
Just kind of looking to see. I haven't seen Lau all that much. Was he playing over on A site for Avenue when they were on defense?
He must have. CDE was playing mid. It was Adamello and
it was Lifer over on B, right?
Lifer, yeah. And then Lowry must have been playing A, and then Looney must have been playing like green. Believe that was their setup, if I remember rightly, but he's been very, very quiet in these last few rounds. I think the only thing which we've ever said about him was that one headshot through the little wooden pole.
Right. Yeah, he was playing in that that arch area on B, and that was after he rotated. But I was talking to some of the players earlier. I think it was I'm not sure who it was, but I was saying they weren't as loud. There's some a lot of Counter-Strike and Rainbow Six and Rocket League around us here at the event. And we've heard screaming all weekend long. And I was like, man, I haven't heard too much from these 2 rows of battalion. What's going on? You guys gonna start screaming? You gonna at the NA LAN? They were just yelling. People were throwing their voices out, this and that. But I was asking, what's the deal? You're not going to get excited and get hype. And he said, man, it's group stage. Maybe when playoffs start, I'll start standing up, get a little excited. And I think, was that Adam Ello who accidentally got off the keyboard a bit earlier yesterday? So maybe, I think I heard a couple cheers after a couple rounds earlier. But
yeah, I think maybe one of the most notable people probably been Daxton for London. He's been very vocal when they've won rounds and when they've done something.
I've seen him in the chat a bit as well, typing some stuff you'd expect him to say.
Yeah.
But that's going to clear off the pause as we jump right back into it. Going into the 18th round, Envictus is up 9-8, and I'd say Envictus is looking pretty good. Avenue's been struggling to get rounds on the board on this ally side. I thought they might have momentum coming into the half, but they have not, and it looks like they're going to go straight for another B hit, or at least a default. Adamello holding down the back with that Garand. Kind of need him to get an opening pick, as he's been the one that's, just getting these kills. And as I say that, they're kind of rotating off B. Sus maybe going to get in a better position to hold it down from Arch, but they have 3 B long, so they might be able to get onto site for free with just 1 smoke upper and 1 in that Arch position. It looks like it's going to start to come out. Adamello throwing it, and the Arch smoke comes out as well. So they're going to execute B, and honestly should be able to get on for free. Joseph looks like he's going to try to back up and get a retake nade thrown over, and the nades are coming over like bombs. Adamello getting stuck and gets taken out. Oh, he's got to be upset about that. And
yeah.
Lifer is able to get onto the stairs, and they should start planting the bomb, but they already lost probably their most important player on the field right now. The bomb actually stopped being planted, and Lifer's able to get aggressive up top, gets the first kill and can't find the second. Joseph's staying alive and doing his job, not over-peaking or anything like that, as Lau goes for another fake plant. They just need to get this bomb down as they're going to start to get closed in on. Looney was able to make his way through the middle of the map and just needs to check his back, maybe able to get a free kill, and he was spotted out as Samuel G and Fancy team up, and the bomb is just now planted, but it's too late. Now CDE is stuck literally on the map, and in a 1v3 needs to do something miraculous, just way too long to get the bomb down there, and up to CDE to clutch this in a 1v3.
Yeah, and it was just such a great start from Avenue. They managed to get the site so well, and then you had Looney towards A doing a lot of damage. Now CDE alone can't stop a defuse if a defuse happens. His best bet is probably just try and take some players and keep the weapons that he has.
Doing a good job so far as the bomb just tapped once again, and Envictus are playing this together so much. They're peeking everything, and he's going to try to just stop this defuse as he comes through house. Maybe able to jump and stop it if he delays for long enough, and a smart play to try to just take out the diffuser. No, he can't get to all 3, but it's just not going to work out. And as you said, they took sight, and unfortunate that Adam Ello went down to some nades, but that's 2 nades. You got to expect at least one's going to go down, and unfortunately it's Adam. Lifer gets the first kill, needs to get the second, and it's just almost there on all these rounds, but it's just not coming together.
Yeah, it's just not enough. They're just missing it just slightly. Maybe just a player needs to step up, or maybe it's just they need to be a little bit more coordinated with each other. Like, that bomb took a long time despite the smokes being up, and the nade stopped being thrown for quite a while.
Yeah, you got to start counting at some point.
Yeah.
You should know how many they have and how many they have left, and when you should be safe to plant. I love this play from Samuel G. I'd love to see him walk all the way through, and it looks like he's going to do just that. Fancy gets his first kill onto Looney, and the nades and smokes are coming out for an A execute from Avenue, and taking a little long to follow up are the players. But Samuel G with this flank should be able to shut this down if he goes quick enough. Here's the first gun come out, and doesn't want to make any noise as he hears him running, going to strafe around the corner and gets a kill. Meanwhile, Niels picks up 2 of his own. Samuel looking to make it 2, and that's all through a play that you were mentioning earlier. Smoke down mid, run straight through it, and you can either find yourself some kills on B or recognize that's a nade play. He probably called it. That's probably why his team started rotating, and get 2 of his own.
That's the thing. That smoke is just so perfect, and I've always been adamant saying you should use that smoke nearly every single round that you can. It can do so much for you. You can block the view of a sniper on there, right? And you can block the view of anyone holding the graveyard push. You could push through the smoke, go to graveyard without being thrown from behind, because they have to push through smoke as well. And the fact that you could push down Ivy as well. It's just, there's so many things that you can do with just that one smoke in play and nothing else.
Fancy kind of playing under the smoke, gets an important kill onto Lifer as CDE goes low on the other side of the map. Adamello holding this bomb over on B, and really just looking for him to make some type of standout play. Sus just kind of walking through here and should get a kill for free. Not where you'd expect him to be, but able to get this and kind of just circle all the way back to B in a safe position once again. And Avenue, just like that, are in a 3v5, and it's just not looking good for them as they're going down left and right. Samuel G playing in mid, takes out Adam Ello, and Looney does trade it out, but it's just a hard round for them.
Yeah, Envictus looking quite comfortable at this point. Just pushing around in the map, finding the holes in Avenue's players, empty into position so they can get frags. Josu's unable to find the mark, but luckily a teammate's there to try and help.
Lowy needs to make this play. It's taken too long, and Fancy's able to pick up the kill onto his teammate Looney. So even if he finds this frag, which he should, but does not, he just took too long. Josus turns around at the perfect timing, and now they are on match point. Envictus up 12-8.
Yeah, and it's quite surprising to say, like, we saw Avenue, like, he's had some question marks, the fact that they only did 3-3. We expect them to do a little bit better, but they have beaten this lineup in the group stages, which was first game, which, again, we did put a question mark on that defeat. When you see a team pick Liberation, you expect them to be a little bit more comfortable than the opposite team, because really, when you do a map veto, you should play the veto against your opponents.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main issue which we see in most best of threes on this game.
And they're trying to push B again, but as Adamello did last time, we see Sus is up in this kind of attic position, and they just need to win one more round here, and they win the match. And he's just going to kind of play this one spot that you can only play once a game, and he's going to probably get at least one kill here. He's going to peek out as soon as this bomb starts getting planted, but no, Adamello is keen to, as it was him doing it earlier, he gets a +10 as he finds a kill on Fancy as well. The bomb is actually going down this time, and the retake nades are, I say that, and Looney does go down, so bomb wasn't completely planted, but they're actually backing off site, and that gives time for Samuel G to get a kill on the Lifer with this car, and I thought Avenue had an advantage there, but they're just taking too long. Adamello trying his best with the pistol, getting a lot of damage onto Josus, but it feels like it's just not enough.
Yeah, they didn't really take too many risks when flying the bomb. They let go of it several times when he could have just held it at some points because the nades wasn't exactly perfect, and it's just giving some openings. But Adamello still being vigilant, trying to have his team, and he's just been a one-man army so far.
Really just staying alive, and Lowy gets the kill onto Samuel G. Adamello makes his way back into the long position, so Josus now left alone in the 1v2, not going to tap the bomb, so they may think that he's still up, or he's maybe going to be able to get the jump on at least one of these players, as it looks like Lowy's going all the way up top, and they should be able to squeak this out. Smart play for him, just kind of walking all the way through. They're not going to expect it, so after he gets this frag, should be now in a 1v1. Adamello knows exactly where he is, and I think Joe knows where he is too, but 20 seconds left, clock is ticking. Adam was the one to plant the bomb, and he's looking to make it 4 kills on the round. Just a game of hide and seek right now. Adam did walk off site and is checking his angles. Gonna hear him run to site, gets the first couple shots, and just waiting. Josus needs to find the headshot if he wants to win this round. Taking a little too long, and he is not gonna get this. Adamello clutches this, and he does finally go down, but a huge round for him, and as we were just saying, he needs to show up if Avenue want to win these rounds, and he does there.
Yeah, it's a massive round from Adamello. He wasted enough time to be able to have that time gone enough. Maybe Josus could have played that slightly differently and it would have worked out, but he did play it very, very well throughout. He did try his hardest, and he nearly had a chance to win it, but too bad that it wasn't. And Avenue has a lifeline for the time being.
And they're just fighting to stay tied in this match. It's pretty hard, but they can do it. Maybe break the economy if they win this round and just start pushing things. But Envictus, they can try new things out if stuff stops working. But I imagine they're just going to keep playing their defaults, as it has typically been going pretty well for them. As I say that, Avenue's doing what's worked for them, at least in the last few rounds, which is try to get onto B. Whether or not they're winning the rounds, or at least getting there and getting close to planting the bomb. Josus is completely smoked out, and looks like, I think if they plant close maybe in a different spot, they should be able to dodge these retake nades, which do come out, and they are all coming out. Maybe, I was going to say wasting them, but they're just not. They got to think that these nades, give it 10, 15 seconds, don't even go on the site. But as I'm saying that, kills are coming out left and right. Neil's getting a headshot onto Lifer, and the bomb is now going down. He's trying to shoot, but is baited out as Lowy gets the kill up top, and Avenue still have 3 players left alive in the 3v3. One goes down, so it's a 2v3 now. Avenue fighting for the life. Lowy and Looney, the only ones left. One's still stuck on bomb site, and you got to feel for him. Not much he can do as Envictus Fancy picks up the kill on Lau in the back, and Looney left alone in a 1v3, playing here in dark, just fighting for his life. Envictus has done this many times before. They're going to push this together. Maybe he can walk through the smoke, but he's got to do something here. You can't just wait. Goes through and can't find it. Niels gets the headshot onto him, and that is going to beat the game for Envictus, as long as I just want to make sure he keeps his finger on the keyboard there to stick the bomb defuse.